Describe the sexual cycle in a long-term relationship between man and woman, and what's your experience in long-term relationships and maintaining desire?
Well, maintaining a desire or attraction in your girl towards you requires remaining in your masculine at most times. Like I had a couple phone sessions yesterday, and both of these guys been together in long-term relationships of multiple years, and they were good out the gate. And first year or two, the relationship was great, but some things happened in life. One of them was death of a parent, and another one had they had a bunch of kids, and he's stressed out. And then what happens slowly over time is guys start turning their girlfriends or their wives into their mommies and expecting her to make up for his lack of masculinity, and it ruins the sexual polarity. And you can suffer for a few months. Typically what I've seen in just all the coaching sessions, the thousands of them I've done over the last 20 something years, is that you, under normal circumstances, and this could be somebody that you've been with for 30 years, because I've seen it in long-term relationships, you get maybe 6-12 months that you can really struggle and not pull your weight before things really start to get bad with the average woman, to where she just loses all respect for it. And so typically in the beginning, it's everything's new. Like a big complaint that women have about guys is like they're romantic at first. In other words, they date and court the girl properly. But once they're in a long-term relationship, they just kind of stop doing that. And they just, when they're horny and they want to bust a nut, they want to have sex. And if the woman doesn't feel heard and understood, the legs are typically in the clothes. And if she does feel heard and understood, typically it's like 7-Eleven. It's open 24/7. Now, statistically, long-term relationships, what you see is for them to last, like ones that go the distance for many years, is one of the things they have in common about sex and intimacy is there's always at least 2 to 3 times a week they're still having sex. When it falls below that, because you see a lot of times guys that are married, what happens, and like when I was younger and I didn't know any better, it's like you get in a routine, and next thing you know, you're having sex, and you've been together for a couple of years, you're having sex like twice a month, every couple of weeks, just because you get lazy, and then the guy's not that into it or whatever, and then when he wants to bust a nut, his girl's not into it either, and then he gets upset and butthurt. And so it's like anything in life, all relationships, they require effort, and it requires effort from both people. And if only one person is putting in the effort or the majority of the effort, eventually it's just not going to last. But as far as men go, is that you gotta the more you consistently apply the things that are in the book and remain in your masculine, remain the leader in the relationship, the more you continue to date and court her, because the courtship never ends. And that's because when I see guys that are having problems in a long-term relationship, it's always the same two issues. She doesn't feel heard and understood. The communication sucks between them, and or he stopped dating and courting her. Like they never go on dates. He never makes her feel special. He just never takes the time. And if you don't date and court your wife or girlfriend, eventually some other guy is going to come along and do that for you. And it doesn't matter how successful or good looking or how much money you have. It's like if your girl doesn't feel heard and understood and you stop dating and courting her properly, eventually she's going to leave. The guys in the red pill community get really butthurt and pissed off about it. They think, oh, if I marry a virgin, then then I never have to worry about her leaving me, and other ridiculous things that they parrot around. I get a pure woman and she hasn't had too many sexual partners, and she won't be able to pair bond. And I mean, the reality is, if you act like a bitch, women are going to treat you like a bitch. Simple as that. You have to always date and court her if you're going to expect her to want to stay in love and want to stick around. And if you don't do that, she's going to leave you. It has nothing to do with hypergamy. Is women want a man. They want a leader. And like I said, the guys that I was coaching yesterday both had the same problem. I feel like your mom was the common refrain that they heard a lot when she would get pissed, or the one wife and the girlfriend, the other one, would get pissed off. I feel like your mother. And so what ends up happening is they turn their girlfriend or their wife into their mommy or their therapist, and they want to go through a difficult time for an extended period of time, and then they get pissed off that the woman doesn't want to stick around. It's like if you continuously act unattractive and you go from being a man and a leader and the head of the household to acting like a little boy looking for attaboys from your mommy, and it's like she's not going to stick around for very long. It's nothing to do with hypergamy or any of that crap. It's just you can't act unattractive for a long time and expect the woman's just going to put up with it, or expect you to go through be depressed for a couple of years and not work and not do anything to help yourself and just play video games and smoke weed all day and not try to get a job or do anything to turn your life around. It's every woman is going to they have a point, they have a breaking point, they're going to leave your ass.
I think it goes for, I mean, for men too, as well as women. Like, men also don't want to be around a woman that's just like lazy and does the same, doesn't want to clean, doesn't want to cook, doesn't want to have sex. She's just in a state where she's just kind of like, depressed, and then she doesn't want to go anywhere or something like that. She's still struggling from her past things, and then she brings it onto him, and then it was fun at first, and then now she's just kind of become a slob.
It definitely happens. Jim Rohn had a great quote. He says, "I'll take care of me for you, and you take care of you for me." And both people, because you come together to share your completeness, and that happens oftentimes. In the longer a couple is together, typically, especially if they're fit and in shape after they've been together for several years, neither one of them goes to the gym anymore, and they're both gaining weight. You throw some kids in the mix, and it just things happen slowly over time. People let themselves go, and you got to show up in life. Life requires your participation. Nobody's gonna do your workouts for you or discipline the food that you buy or that you eat. It's like that's all on you. You got to take, like Jocko Willink says, you got to take extreme ownership of your life. Everything that's in it, you being fit and in shape, you being healthy, paying your bills, roof over your head, maintaining your job, doing a good job, maintaining your friendships, your relationships. It's everything's like a garden, and it requires effort. And if like anything, if you it's just like friendships, and that's one of the things that happens to people as they get older. It's people move away. Oh yeah, I'm gonna give them a call next week. Next thing you know, 6 months have gone by, and then it's 2 years gone by, and then you lost their number, and then they're kind of out of touch. And it's like that's what's interesting is like when people come to the end of their lives, it's like that's one of the common things that they say. It's they wish they'd have taken more risks in life and gone for the things they want or try to create the life they want. And a big thing they say, I wish I'd have kept in touch with my friends. I wish I had, because it just happens. You get busy in life or whatever. Next thing you know, a decade's gone by and you can't remember where you put that dude's friend or their phone number, and
Put their dude's
put
friend.
that dude's friend. You can't remember where you put their phone number or whatever, or you lose that phone or whatever, and it's just you're like, oh God, I forgot about that dude. I haven't talked to him in ages, and then that's what happens. Then decades go by. Next thing you know, you hear about him and you hear that guy passed away.
Yeah.
It happened with Chunky's dad, an old buddy of ours that we grew up with. Chunky's dad had gone to lunch. He's like, oh, guess who I saw? And I was like, who? And he told me. I was like, oh man, we got to get together and catch up and go to lunch. He's like, yeah, I'll check in with him. And next thing I know, I hear a few weeks later the dude died. I was like, man.
That does suck.
But that's life. Things happen.
I think a lot of times also people get too comfortable with one another to they both just kind of like, whatever. It is what it is.
They take it for granted.
Yeah. I mean, I think we've all been in relationships where we dated people where we felt very comfortable with one another, and you go to the same places or you do the same things all the time. Oh, let's go out. Okay, we're gonna go here because I didn't know I've experienced that multiple times, and it's okay, or their friends are there, and it's
so there's no more dates. It's just, me and my group of friends are hanging out.
Yeah, we're all just hanging out together.
It's like a chore.
I wouldn't say it's a chore. You still have fun with it, but you want to have that romantic you and him time or you and her time. And then sometimes it's
yeah, you got to have the one-on-one time.
Right. And it's like, okay, we're going to the same place, which is, not a romantic setting. It's
No.
not like anywhere you can, feel like sexy or,
No.
kiss and like, hold each other's legs under the table or, whatever.
When
So,
it's a routine,
yeah, no, I mean, just,
it's a chore.
yeah. Well, it's not, it's like I guess you could say that. I feel like it's just like, I mean, I would still have fun, just like you're doing the same stuff. Just like, I want to do something different. I want to do something romantic. And rather than like once
You like
a
a little
year.
variety, more variety.
Yeah. Like once a year of romantic date, other than like just
Once a year.
like once a year.
It sounds like you're like a 90-year-old. Well, I'm sure
Once a
90-year-olds
year.
are having more sex than that. I'm just saying that sounds like a 60-year-old's married relationship that they're maybe having sex on their anniversary or
Yeah.
on his birthday or something like that.
Yeah, no,
Those are mercy lays.
the
Mercy fucks.
But that's what it sounds
Babe,
like.
can you throw me a mercy fuck? It's
well, I mean,
Valentine's
some people
Day.
just like
It's my birthday.
they want to
just a little taste.
I'm just setting it. I'm just laying an example.
No, it's a great example.
Just like they don't want to do like you have like a man's man. Like they just.
I need to see the baloney curtains again.
If the
baby.
game's on, we got to go somewhere where there's a TV. Like,
Yeah.
We got to go where the TV is. Like,
Well, I think that it would
well, do I need to put a TV over my vagina?
be right. Do I need to put it right here so like when you're eating me out, you can watch the game?
TV. You can watch TV at the same time.
That would be convenient.